Yeah.
That was not a fun noise.
YouTube.
Oh.
What's up, y'all?
You're good. He's good. He's good. Yeah, there you go. He stopped doing it.
What?
Okay.
Okay, take two. YouTube, what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode. Thank you for checking us out. Keeping it short, sweet, and concise. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way you can hang out with us more often. Hit the like button, letting us know that you like this kind of content. And if there's any other comic book related stuff you'd like us to discuss, maybe there's a matchup you want us to talk about, drop it in the comments down below. And then hit the bell icon so that way you stay up to date whenever we upload. Because we upload how many days a week, Sam?
6.
Hey, there you go. Good job. Yeah. We upload 6 days a week. A lot of uploads, a lot of great content, all for you. So let's jump in today. Today's topic is part dose of our Marvel little mini series we're talking. Last week, we discussed the beginning to the end of the Infinity Saga, basically, and kind of the beginning of the Phase 4. But we actually ranked our favorite movies, or ranked all the movies really, and got a good discussion on where they were going with it. How we kind of felt with the movies. We got into a really great discussion about Captain Marvel, which there's something I want to talk about here in just a moment. Because Anderson actually messaged me shortly after that episode to tell me that I was wrong about something. So I'm curious because he never specified as to what.
I mean, it was late at night, so you just said we'll get to it, and then we never did.
That's fair. But here, we can get to it now. So let's dive in. Before we even jump into where Marvel is now, I want to hear what you meant by I was wrong.
Let's see. What did I message you on this?
It was specifically related to Captain Marvel. I know that.
Yes. I'm trying to
because that seemed to be the hot topic of discussion that night.
Oh wait, no, I messaged you on Facebook about that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see the point again. I'm looking now. I can't go through our messages of us just fucking around.
Just so many messages.
Oh, I say, yeah, we both need to revisit Marvel and Captain Marvel because we were wrong on some things. We were both wrong.
Okay,
so I went back and looked it up because you said she couldn't go light speed and stuff like that. And I went back and looked it up, and in the comics and everything like that, she does go light speed in at least binary form. And it's been, she doesn't, I know she goes faster than the speed of sound in her regular form, which is fine. But in her binary form, which she was shown to achieve in Captain Marvel, it is stated that she goes faster than light.
So I'm assuming if she's in binary form, then she no longer has mass.
Yeah.
So
that's what
where if I might add, did you reference that she was traveling at light speed?
Oh, now I got to go and look up all that stuff again.
Because I just want to make sure you're not confusing comic book wise. I just want to make sure you're not confusing the light speed engine with going light speed.
No,
with her specifically going light speed.
No, I'm not confusing the light speed engine with her going light speed. I'm saying she goes faster than light. Let me see. Sure. I can't speed. I can't spell. Okay.
Can't talk either.
So from what I'm reading in multiple sources, she has flown and recorded in the comics. She has flown at 3 times the speed of sound for several hours at a time. So it is likely she could go much faster. However, she has not attained that speed.
No, that's her normal form. That's her base form. I'm talking her binary form.
Even in binary, she hasn't traveled at light speed. That's why I'm saying, like, if there's something that you've read, like per the comics.
All right. Well, I mean, you're gonna have to give me a second because you're asking me to pull all this stuff up now. And
I can travel at light speed.
I mean, with the glare that comes off of your pale white body, I'm sure.
Oh, Jesus.
I can't say much.
Yeah.
I just have warm light.
Speaking of that, I only have the one light too. This thing is at 10%. This is the pale that shows.
Could you imagine if you were at 100%?
Oh, I'll show you. Hang on.
Oh, God.
That thing's about to light up the whole fucking room.
Oh, God.
Wait, isn't it? Yeah.
When you wish upon a star. Or I could go shine bright like a diamond.
Jesus.
But anyways, while he's looking that up, kind of recapping what we talked about last week. We discussed again the ramifications of the Infinity Saga. Briefly discussed WandaVision only because Anderson had not watched all of it yet and hadn't seen Loki, so we couldn't really get into Phase 4 yet. Which, of course, Phase 4, as it stands right now, is pertaining to WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, and Black Widow.
Yep.
So that'll be the premise of what we talk about. If you'd like to catch up on what we talked about last week, definitely go back and watch that. It is a little bit longer episode, but definitely a lot of good discussion, a lot of good talk in that one on just phases 1 through 3 of Marvel. And like I said, where we left off with the end of the Infinity Saga. Of course, Tony's passing, Cap going back and get his 1970 booty action going on. And then Miss Widow diving off of the peak on Vormir to get the Soul Stone, which I have a couple ideas as to what could happen, but this also pertains to the movies. And Sam, you've seen Widow, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And you're caught up on everything else?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, Anderson, do you want to wrap back to that, or are you about where you need to be?
For what?
Captain Marvel.
Oh, no. Let's keep on going.
Okay. Well,
Like keep on going with Captain Marvel, or like just move on for right now?
Move on for right now.
Gotcha. So yeah, I guess last that we had talked, you hadn't seen WandaVision and Loki yet. I guess before we get into it, let's start talking there, because that's kind of where we left off last time. And then we'll move on into the future. So, hey, Isaac's in the chat saying Captain Marvel doesn't add much.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel was just kind of a prequel telling. I think we're going to get a lot more of her and the understanding behind her powers, especially in Binary, in the Marvels movie that we're going to get.
Because they kind of just threw it into the movie. They didn't really explain it.
Yeah.
Well, they it's not that they didn't explain it. They explained the brief origin of it. It's basically a whole movie about her trying to understand her past and not realizing how strong she actually is. Like, she is literally a walking Infinity Stone, basically. Like,
I mean, you say it, I'm just like, okay. I mean, other than her own movie, she didn't really add much other than being like their like ultimate deterrent to Thanos, and she didn't even show up until the very end.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would have liked personally to see. I mean, they did a great job, but like I feel like they could have rolled Captain Marvel into it a little bit more than they did. But
yeah, instead of her being at the beginning of the movie and then flying off and then not coming back until Thanos almost kills everyone again.
well, I think the only reason they did that was solely because of how OP she really is. Like, it literally took Thanos pulling the Power Stone out of the gauntlet, holding it in his fist, powering it up, and hitting her with it to get her like knocked out on the ground. Like, that's a significant amount of power. And knowing that she got her power from the movie, in the MCU at least, directly from the Tesseract, which of course was the Space Stone, like, that's a tremendous amount of power. So I think it's just the fact that she was OP, and then she was really like the cavalry. She was the cavalry at the end, basically, to help swing the fight a bit more towards the Avengers direction. And also, I mean, I appreciated what they were doing when they said, like, with her line of like, there's a bunch of other planets out there and they all don't have you guys, like, which is true. We're looking at this from a worldly perspective of Earth has the Avengers. Oh dear God, what's Earth going to do if the Avengers go away? And then we have to realize, like, oh well, there's no other planet out there that has the Avengers. As a matter of fact, they are all pretty much like GG. It's game over for us. Like, so. But I mean,
yeah, I get that after once Thanos did the snap, then I get, yeah, she has to go out and do what the Avengers can't, and that's avenge all the other planets and keep them safe. But like when he was there and doing this stuff through space, and then he came on Earth, like, you would think he'd be there because I mean, there's a whole fucking army, and you got an army, they're battling it out, and they still lose. Like, if she was there, I'm pretty sure that could have turned the tide of that whole thing.
Are you talking about in Infinity War or in Endgame?
Infinity War. Endgame, I completely understand why she left after that because, like you said, other planets don't have the Avengers. So I have no problem with that. It was like in Infinity War, which I also get it because of MCU. She wasn't introduced yet, la-di-da-di-da. So, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, just like, well, I mean, her as a character's kind of, I mean, yeah, she may be like the end-all be-all, but damn, she got some shitty timing.
I mean, I don't think it was the fact that she didn't know that there was a fight going on. I think it was still more so the fact that, like, because she's not part of the Galactic Police at that point. She's kind of like her own Lone Ranger kind of situation going on here. And so she doesn't have the communications of knowing where something's going on around the universe at all times. And that's why you see at the end of Infinity War, before Fury gets dusted, he pulls out that beeper and hits the buttons. And that's why you see her symbol pop up, because that was the beeper that she had configured to transmit to her in the event of a cosmic attack or whatever it may be that she's needed. And so I don't think it was the fact that she didn't show up just because. She just didn't know. Like, there's no way she could have known that there was a fight going down on Titan nor on Earth in either one of those moments, because she just doesn't have the communications to know that. She's out there traveling on her own with no military, personnel to help her out, no military communication, no Kree communication, nothing like that.
Okay, I mean, but you're telling me that a being that constantly wastes off radiation can't feel the radiation spikes of the Infinity Stones being used one after another?
It never was confirmed that she could feel that. It was never confirmed that she could actually sense when the Infinity Stones were being used. She just harbors. She's basically powered by the Tesseract, the Space Stone. That's all it is. She just got her powers from that. It was never a confirmed assessment that she could sense when one of them was being used.
Was it like that in the comics, or?
I don't think so. I don't remember specifically.
Okay. I don't believe it was.
But I know in the MCU, because the MCU isn't strictly canon from the comics, they like to take bits and pieces. They never confirmed that was the case. Like how Bruce, like when he's in full Hulk form, when he's Smart Hulk in Endgame, and Thor is basically saying, like, let me snap my fingers, I'm the most powerful Avenger here, and Hulk was like, nah, it's not even like that. This thing's emitting an insane amount of gamma radiation. It's basically like I was created to do this. Like, he can sense it because he's literally, like, that's one of Hulk's powers, is literally being able to see radiation. Whereas Captain Marvel's is not. Captain Marvel was never confirmed that she could even sense radiation, let alone see it. It was just that she is powered by cosmic radiation from the Tesseract.
Yeah, I can see where that conclusion could be drawn, though, Anderson, because, like, we were talking at a decent length last time that, like, Captain Marvel and Hulk were made kind of essentially the same, like both with a bunch of radiation, right?
Mhm.
Like,
yeah.
and so like I can see where that corollary can definitely be made. But anyway, we've been talking about Captain Marvel for a minute.
Yeah. I would just like to, before we move on from this, I've looked up through all the sources and stuff I had. I'm revisiting them, and all of them are vague as fuck. Even Marvel.com is vague on her speed, so I don't think it's been confirmed yet whether she can or not.
Gotcha. Yep. I just
Because
got,
even when Marvel is even vague about it, then it's like,
yeah.
that's something not right here.
And a couple final notes from the chat. Isaac saying if we lose the Avengers, we still have Captain Planet.
Fuck yeah.
Always Captain Planet never dies.
Yep.
Reduce, reuse, and recycle.
And then Rusty saying Captain Marvel wouldn't stand a chance against 1% Shaggy.
Facts.
Get your mean shit out of here.
Facts, honestly.
But anyway, so Anderson, you recently watched WandaVision and Loki. Give us, fair and honest, like what you thought about it, about both of them, and and everything like that.
WandaVision, really slow and boring to get into, but when I was watching it, I did pick up the corollaries and everything like that, especially like towards the end. I mean, are we doing spoilers? Should we announce that?
By the way, heavy spoilers, like definitely spoilers. Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, yeah, I saw the correlation between Wanda's powers, her getting the Scarlet Witch outfit and everything like that. The blast back to the 70s and 80s, which also Marvel really seems to have a thing for going like back to the 50s or the 70s. I don't know what's with them. And even the 90s, they're just like, yeah, we just want to do like a nostalgia trip.
Yeah.
But I saw the effects that WandaVision would have on the MCU as a whole. And while it is an important series to watch, it is very fucking boring to get into. Nothing even happens until about the third or fourth episode.
Yeah, that was always kind of the hard part.
But it's like a little like twinges, like the little helicopter in the bush or whatever like that. Is like, oh, here's the thing, she's connected to the real world. It's like, yeah, I know that. I want to get to the fucking point.
Yeah, I think it, like, from kind of us talking and everything, WandaVision, and I know this isn't exactly the rule, but WandaVision is definitely going to appeal more towards like your diehards, that like you see these small little things and you pick up on those immediately, whereas your more casuals are going to be a little bit more like, what's going on? And so, like, yeah, it was a little rough to get into for the first, like, 3-4 episodes for a lot of people. I think.
And even at the end when there was a, what was it, Randy Boner or whatever, that fucking Boner joke or little plot hole, I recognized it and I was just like, I'm not even impressed. I just want this series to end.
Dang. Well, what about Loki though? What do you think there?
Loki was fantastic. I was actually rooting for Loki the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking great. And the way they pulled it all together and then introduced huge fucking villain that's going to come about. And the way they went about it too. And the way they did it, they were also able to introduce the different dimensions and Earths and stuff like that. Like Earth, instead of just having MCU be on our Earth, which I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, but the number for that is Earth 313.
I have no idea.
Joe would know more. And
in the multiverse?
Yeah. Is it Earth 313? That's the original? I forget the number for it.
I know in DC, Earth Prime is Earth 616. In Marvel, it is.
I feel like it's a 300 number.
I got you.
Okay.
Earth 616.
It's 616. Okay. But yeah, the way they introduced that with like having the supreme timeline and then eventually them giving free choice and making all these other timelines and stuff like that and dimensions and realities, it's fucking great. So
Wait.
I did.
I combined the two. My apologies, everybody out there. Earth 616 is Marvel. Earth Prime is DC. Sorry.
Okay. But yeah, I really loved how they introduced that concept, which allows for so much more. Makes me feel like we're gonna get that old time. What was it, that old Marvel game where the dimensions collide? Feels like we're gonna get something like that sooner or later. Also, like the lead up to, obviously, I'm guessing here, the Secret Invasion arc. And I don't know, Loki as a whole just did so much more to bring so much more excitement to the MCU than WandaVision did for me.
I'd say that's fair. I'm excited to see where it goes with He Who Remains, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
I
we can
feel
keep
like,
calling him that.
I mean, you know, what's his actual name? It's like Kang or Kong or
Yeah, King the Conqueror.
Kor or
Well, that's what they're going with in that one.
yeah. But
Yes,
okay,
Joe, we know
then
something
speak
else.
instead of shaking your
Yeah,
head.
speak
I'm
instead
just
of
I'm
saying.
giving y'all a chance to speak.
Yeah.
I'm about to dump a bunch of knowledge real quick.
Okay,
I'm
go
just
for it.
letting y'all. I'm letting y'all
Yeah.
talk because yeah, we've divided it now. Like I know I'm like the mega nerd over here, and y'all are the casuals, who watch, and enjoy the shows. And I just want to make sure like y'all get y'all's thoughts out before I start deep diving into this stuff.
We've already, well, at least I've already accepted that this is going to be 90% Joe talking.
Yeah.
No, 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 no.
No, that's exactly what it is. So, Joe, go ahead and drop some truth bombs on us. Because we
Okay.
said our opinions on WandaVision and
Yeah.
Loki. I'm sure you got your strong opinions.
So, well, I'm going to start with the He Who Remains thing. That is not confirmed as Kang.
No?
Kang the Conqueror is a completely different entity. Reason being is if you will look in the comics, Kang is a multiversal villain. Actually, not multiversal, a multi-timeline villain, if you could.
So, multi-reality, multi-dimensional. Which one are you going with?
He has multiple entities throughout the timeline. He is literally a time conqueror. Like he has what's the city he has? Chat, help me out. What's his city that he has like in the quantum realm that he like hides all of his trophies and such? It's is it like Kronos or something out there? Either way, Kang is just a multi-time being basically. And what you were seeing was He Who Remains is an entity that knows of Kang because Kang comes from one of his beings. He Who Remains is his own specific character because he has lived through all of time up till the end of time when time was written too. And he can't see past that because that's where the multiversal war came from, was all these Kangs fighting one another, basically trying to become the ultimate conqueror to take over. And He Who Remains was pretty much a good guy who roped everything together, created the TVA, and made sure everything was all set to one good portion where he could at least keep eyes on everything and keep all the other timelines at bay for the sacred timeline to remain. So He Who Remains is not actually Kang. He Who Remains is a person who is basically a variant. Like Kang is a variant of him, not he's a variant of Kang.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
that's
what the whole thing explained in the last episode of Loki.
yeah, and I knew that guy himself was not him. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
it
the
was
whole
just
point of the variants being brought up.
yeah, it was just like a guy that looks like him, basically. Yeah, is that. But I what I'm saying is like I feel like, you know, that's going to introduce, again, as a casual, like you know, Thanos was already an enormous threat, right? Like, I mean, like it's like the biggest threat that Avengers have ever faced. And like, you know, there were even times as I was watching, like, you know, the Avengers are going to win, but there are points where you're like, they might not actually win. Like, you know, they did a
they
great,
get their ass whooped.
yeah, they did a great job telling that story in a way that you're not just like, because everybody, like, you know, good guys win, bad guys lose, but you know, they did it in such a good way that it was, you know, you thought they were going to lose at certain points, but then to kind of take it to that next step to where like you don't know where this guy's coming from or when, I should say. And you know the immense kind of power that they alluded to, that sets up a lot for the future of the MCU, and I'm just really excited to see it. Like, you know, because you know, as long as they keep up with the great storytelling like they've been doing, I think it'll be, you know, I was always kind of worried that like, all right, what's Marvel gonna do from here? But they're definitely putting out some good shit.
Yeah, for me, when I saw the end of Loki and I saw He Who Remains and King and the little statue alluding to King the Conqueror and everything like that, I was excited because also I like the fact that they're not just sticking with the same script; they're kind of developing it more to where like even like back when we didn't even know Thanos was going to be a thing. I mean, we still got pretty good hints to Thanos being the end all be all for at least like a good portion of the Marvel movies. And we was able to say there was one definable enemy that was going to come. We knew he was going to come, and he was going to come from space in the story. So we knew the location, we knew the enemy, and we knew his direction. Didn't know his motive, which I'm glad Infinity War went and developed his character on that, because great character development on him.
Mhm.
But the way I see Marvel working now, they're working towards, we don't know who the enemy is. We don't know where he's coming from. We don't know if he's coming from our time or another time. We don't even know if it's a he, him, she, her, they, whatever. We don't know. And they're caught on, they're going to be caught unawares. And I like that they're also leaving room to be attacked on different fronts for the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would really like to see. Not just, I mean, one definable enemy is good, but I like to see them tackling everything at all odds. And everything against them.
Yeah, and I got to go back for just a second. I don't know if you guys saw, somebody had done like basically played the final episode of Loki and the final episode of WandaVision at the exact same time. And the moment that that Wanda becomes Scarlet Witch, that's when He Who Remains is like, that's it. I don't know what else is going to happen from here. And so that, I think that really helps to allude to what Joe has been talking about before, like the relevancy and how strong Wanda's going to be in this, this next chapter. So
of course, because Wanda's powers are straight up broken.
Yeah, honestly, super OP.
She's literally a reality stone.
Yep. Anyway, Joe, you've been quiet for a little bit, so I know you've probably got some stuff you want to say.
I'm trying to keep it under the 90% mark for you.
That's fine. We've been talking enough. I think,
Yeah, we got a little bit in there.
Yep.
You can take the next 30 minutes.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, just kick it on back.
Yep.
So going back to the relevancy.
Sip.
Jesus Christ. So going back to the relevancy of WandaVision, there's a couple things here that's really keying up that we're gonna see. If you paid attention throughout WandaVision, it wasn't just talking about how her powers are OP. That the boner joke was funny and all, but Marvel was basically alluding to the fact that they are creating the multiverse, and we know that they're going to be creating the multiverse at this point, especially with how everything took place in Loki. The speculation here to recognize is that we're not going to get Kang as the first big bad.
Oh no.
Oh, probably definitely not.
No,
they'd be dumb to just throw him in the next movie and then be like, okay, that's it.
Well,
like,
well, not so. He's supposed to show up in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Oh,
which would make sense because his city is there.
Well, so he's supposed to be the big bad in that movie, but to my understanding, the two big bads that they have that they could play on right now are Kang and Scarlet Witch. I would anticipate Kang very likely, very, very likely being the big bad of this saga, not of the phase. Because we all know with Avengers, like, you look at the first Avengers movie, who was the big bad? Loki. Well, Loki was introduced in Thor, and Loki's storyline was told throughout other movies, briefly, albeit short as all get out, that's what he was leading to. And then of course, in reality, Thanos was the one pulling the strings the whole time behind the scenes. And you see that in, after credit scenes where he's like, fine, I'll do it myself. And he grabs the gauntlet off the thing and everything. But with this, if you look at WandaVision, WandaVision ends with her on a couple notes. One, she is now the Scarlet Witch. This whole time she's been Wanda Maximoff. She is now the Scarlet Witch. Marvel retconned her character arc.
Yep.
And in the best way possible. And it's in the episode where she goes back in time with Agatha, because Agatha's trying her hardest to figure out, like, how do you have this power? Where are you getting this from? I need this. And she goes back in time and recognizes, oh, well, Wanda talks about how she got her powers from the Mind Stone, when in reality, the Mind Stone basically broke her mind and unlocked her powers for her. Couple keynotes with that. If you were watching that episode, when she talks about, well, like when she's looking at the part where she's a kid and they're talking about watching sitcoms and whatnot, and her dad lets her pick out the movie. There's a couple things to look at that I especially have theories on. Number one, she had her powers then. She didn't know it because when the bomb went off in her apartment, how did they get across the room without, especially after an explosion hits their building? The building's caved in at this point. Their parents have disappeared because the couch is destroyed, but they were sitting up against it. How'd they get under the table? Because she moved them. She moved them over under the table to save her and her brother. But
wait, question here. Did Pietro have his powers by that point or no?
no.
Okay. That's the only thing I want cleared up.
But here's a theory I have for that. In the comics, I know this is going to go deep diving for a second. Do you both know who the true father is of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch?
Yes.
No.
Who?
Should be Magneto.
Correct.
Oh.
My theory, being that they are doing the multiversal setup, is that the parents you see that they're sitting with is not her, or at least the father is not her father.
Right. Probably foster parents or something like that.
I think that's her mother, but I think that her mother and Magneto got busy and had them, and Magneto left, which could very well happen with the story they tell when X-Men is finally created and released.
Like,
Now that is
is it going to literally be titled X-Men? Is that what they're calling it, or is it something else?
Yeah, they're redoing the entire X-Men franchise under the MCU.
Okay. I got a couple questions on that one. Are they redoing the current X-Men kind of thing they got going on with Days of Future Past and Dark Phoenix and stuff like that, or are they redoing the original trilogy?
No confirmation on either one.
Okay.
All we know is that they are creating the X-Men. They're doing the Fantastic Four first and then creating the X-Men.
Ooh, that's going to be a hit or miss.
The hard part here is like with the X-Men, and just a brief touch on this, the hard part with it is
there's a
you
shit
have
ton of characters.
Well, not even that, but look at who played Professor X. You had two of the most brilliant possible actors to portray that character.
Yep.
James McAvoy and Sir Patrick Stewart. Like there's no one else that honestly I could see playing those characters.
Yeah, I can't see anyone like living up to that role. And same thing on that note, look who they have for Wolverine. I can't see anyone playing that.
Well, apparently Hugh Jackman dropped something on social media that is teasing his return, but
oh fuck yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. I hope so, because that's the only person I can see as Wolverine.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible, but that means that would completely retcon Logan, and I don't know if they want to do that because Logan was a beautiful movie.
Yeah, that would suck because then they would also go into retconning Deadpool. Oh god, yeah, that
No,
would suck.
no, because Deadpool doesn't exist in that universe with Logan.
Because Logan was
The
its own kind of
timelines were
separate
changed.
thing, right?
Uh,
The timelines were different.
but he still showed up at the end.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he did. Deadpool. And at the end of Logan, there was a after credit scene.
Are you sure that wasn't in Deadpool?
No, it was in Logan. Logan was buried with a little cross that Laura made, and Deadpool just comes up. Oh shit, well you're dead. Well, and he opens up a serum or something in a bottle, and he just pours it on the grave.
1 second.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm not going to look it up
So,
right now, at least.
yeah. That's a fan made.
Oh, is it a fan made?
Yep.
Why did I see it? Okay. Well, that changes everything. Never mind.
Because the first one that comes up says, "What if Logan had a post-credit scene?" And the next one is the exact same thing with Deadpool visits Logan's grave in post-credit scene. Spoilers. #fan made.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah. So,
Xbox.
because if you watch Deadpool 2, I think it is. Yeah, it's where he actually ends up going to the school. you see all the characters from the new timeline.
Yeah, I saw that.
So in a brief moment, but anyways, that's here nor there. But going back to her real quick, I firmly believe that we're going to see that story come full circle with Magneto being the parents.
I wonder how that's going to work with Pietro being dead.
I don't think they have to bring him back. I
don't think they should. I think they should actually leave him dead to, instill consequences.
I mean, they could definitely use Maximoff from the X-Men if they want to bring in that universe of X-Men that we saw. Because if you remember at the end of what was it? At the end of Dark Phoenix, I'm pretty sure he's still in that universe. I don't think he's dead. But I mean, they could bring them in if they wanted to. It's whatever they want to do. But either way, talking about her, that shows that she had her powers. The Mind Stone unlocked those powers. It didn't give her powers. It unlocked her powers for her because she is actually an actual Nexus being, which we get a lot more understanding of what Nexus beings are in Loki. And because Nexus beings can literally rewrite reality. And that's what you see. You finally get the understanding of that from Loki when you look back at WandaVision. You're like, well, yeah, we kind of got that idea, but it makes a lot more sense as to how she did it, not the why, but more so like what caused her to do it. Like that was just the Scarlet Witch breaking through, which made Agatha show up and be like, the hell's going on over here?
Agatha's like, can you not do that and wreck reality, please?
Oh, can I get some of that? That looks cool.
Yeah, but the big thing at the end is she was literally doing what Doctor Strange was doing in his astral form, where he would be sleeping and then his astral form would still be studying spells.
Oh yeah, at the very end.
Yeah, she has basically projected an astral form from herself to deter anybody from coming to the cabin, and she is in the room with the Darkhold basically reading it, and that's when you hear in the distance, "Mom, help us, Mom!" Like, because she is, her goal is to get her kids back. Like that is it, and she's about to rip apart reality to do it.
Yeah, that's what I was. When I saw that scene, I was just like, "Oh, you going from hero to villain real quick."
Yep. So I think she's going to be the villain in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which she's already confirmed to be in. But I have a feeling that she's not only going to be that, she's going to be the villain in the next Avengers movie.
Yep. Because they're going to either have to get her back to Earth or like make her recognize her grief and terms with it, or end up killing her. But since it's the MCU, it's probably going to be the first one.
I don't know. They're not opposed to killing anybody.
I don't know. This is DC. They would have killed her outright already.
Well, but leading that into Loki, of course, as we know where Loki leaves off, the entire, the sacred timeline's broken. Like the entire multiverse is about to pour into one another.
He didn't just get cock blocked. He got cock blocked through dimensions in reality. That shit gotta hurt.
Well, and also you were talking, I want to go back to something you were saying. You said at the end of Loki, when he goes back to the TVA, you see a statue of Kang. If you notice something, Loki is actually in that scene in a completely different timeline.
That would make sense.
Because Sylvie pushes him through the Tempad portal after the sacred timeline starts to break. So there's no way they knew where he was going to go. They just had a time set on the Tempad, and he could have ended up at that exact same time in any one of the timelines that just split.
Right. So most likely he's in a branch off.
Correct.
Which makes sense. I mean, especially with, them not actually recognizing him, or like, and just like, who are you?
Yeah. I mean, when did they set the timestamp? Because there's a good period that they know him or even know of him. So they just like, who are you? I'm like, well,
so if it's a different timeline, because if you listen to Mobius when he shows up, he runs up to Mobius and he's like, oh, it's broken. We found him. We found he who remains. The timeline's broken. What are we gonna do? And he goes, "What? Just calm down. Calm down. You're an analyst. What's wrong? What's going on here?" they didn't recognize Loki because they had never seen that. They had never seen him in that mindset. Basically, that variant of Loki that's in their timeline was just an analyst.
Oh,
So-
that means a lot of shit is fucked up.
Yeah, because it doesn't
Yeah.
have to necessarily break off from that point. Like, since the timeline got all messed up, then they could theoretically break off at his time way before they even knew who Loki was.
That's
Correct.
true, and the branch
Yep.
can come across that same point in time, and
Yep.
it'd be different because it broke off earlier. Okay,
Yeah, that's
That
part of
makes
what
sense.
that screen, that TV screen that they're always looking at with the sacred timeline going across, and then you see the small branches coming off and they prune it. That's what that is basically different timelines breaking off at certain points. So he could have ended up at any one that happened before they ever knew him. Like that's what that TV is representing, because it has actually the day, the time, and this place. We're scrolling when a new one pops up, and you can
Mhm.
see where it was. And so he could have ended up literally anywhere in any one of those timelines.
yeah. Not to mention the whole concept of the end of time and a time after time that was introduced. That
Was
fucking blows shit
fantastic.
way the fuck open. I was just like, oh, we doing that? That's a good And what was it? The little cloud monster. I forgot his name.
Alioth,
Yeah, Alioth and all that. I was just like, oh, we doing that now. Okay.
which was a deep cut, by the way, from the comics.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, what? They really went digging for that one. Like, and dude, they did not disappoint with that.
Yeah, I read that in the comics one point, and then when I saw it in Loki, I was like, I feel like that's a reference to something like Astaroth. That's something I didn't even know the name, but I was like, that's a reference to something, and I'm missing something. So I went and looked it up and found Eligorth or whatever his name is. I was like, oh, that's what it references to.
They've got to just have somebody on their
Oh, fuck.
payroll. They've just got to have somebody on their payroll that knows like 10 times more than Joe. That's just like sitting there, like,
they got a whole board of fucking nerds.
like, yeah. It's
Like
like,
some
looking-
sweaty, like weeb looking guys just been in from the day they were born.
we must consult the Council of Nerds.
You show up to Marvel HQ and you just see this pinnacle, like this tower, and then you climb to the top of the tower, and at the top you just see a guy sitting in a chair with a helmet on. They're like, tell us who is the next character we will get, and you just see him go beep, 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 beep. Quicksilver. Like, yes.
You shall receive the lore for one blowjob.
Feed him a pack of nerds, quick.
Oh, fuck.
Jeez.
Get this man some lotion and some Playboys.
The room is filled with dirty tissues, and he's just alone by himself. Just
Oh no, it's not dirty tissues. It's you. It's old Marvel comic pages.
Oh.
they just come up as solid, thick, like globs, and they're not even just splitting apart at
No,
that
you
point.
drop it, it breaks. Like,
Nah, fuck that. You throw it and it sticks in the wall. It's like, god damn.
spaghetti's done.
Fuck.
Why? Oh,
But
man.
I want to say because I saw all the end of time and the time after time, and of course the city where He Who Remains reside. But I mean, it's at the center of pretty much the Big Bang. So we'll get to that later. But the way they open this up leaves a great introduction for maybe phase 5 or whatever phase after this. Once they're done with like what they're doing now, I love how they're leaving some entryways for Galactus to show up. I'd say that'd be a pretty good way for Galactus to show up. I mean, there's better ways, of course, and I highly think they're going to make better ways. But I like that there's some ifs and ands in there that can be potentially exploited.
I agree to a degree. I would say
Because-
we're going to get a much more healthy dose of that in Fantastic Four.
Oh, definitely, because I mean, Galactus was their villain, and Galactus is a fantastic villain.
Well, technically, we've already seen Galactus. We've already seen Galactus in full form to this point. Just many people would have glazed over it because they would have never recognized what to see. If I'm not mistaken, It was in Guardians of the Galaxy when the Collector was talking about where the stones came from. And there's a point where you see this massive, massive purple individual, and he just like has a stab, and he's
Wait,
and you
did
see
people
the
look over
power
that?
Huh?
Did people actually look over that?
Yeah.
I
A lot of
remember
people
when I
didn't know
saw
who that
that. Oh, well, I saw it and I was just like, oh, that's fucking Galactus.
Yeah, just different
Well,
helmet.
I forgot
I was
about it
just
until
like-
you said it, but I was
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
oh yeah,
I
that's right.
looked
That
over
did
and I was
happen.
just like, oh yeah, that's Galactus. Oh wow, that's going to be a major plot point in the very distant future.
Yeah. So the beautiful part of that is they're not going to turn him into a damn asteroid cloud. They're actually going to have him as a person,
Yeah,
which I hope
thank
they put
God.
him on his throne, and the throne like hovers planet to planet. That'd be
Ooh,
amazing.
yes.
That'd be cool.
I hope they actually show him eating a planet.
Oh, that'd be great. I hope so.
But CGI is good enough now.
Yeah, let's get back on track. Let's go away from the theories and go back to the actual shows and stuff like that.
So to wrap up with Loki there, because we do need to talk about Falcon the Winter Soldier to kind of bring it more to Earth. But to wrap up with Loki, a couple things. Number one, Gator Loki.
Fuck yeah.
We all
Best
need a
character.
Gator Loki in our lives. Like
Best fucking character. Oh, you
Yeah.
want to talk shit? I'm gonna bite your hand off, homie.
This is one that I do know. The little nod to Throg, like,
Yeah.
was so cool. Like, I was like, oh no fucking way.
Yep. I remember seeing that for the first time, and I was like, hold on a second. And I scrolled back. I was like, wait, it's Throg. Yes. Like,
Also,
let him out.
them finally expanding upon Loki's powers was fucking
yes.
amazing.
Yes.
I was so happy to see that. Because like throughout the whole like MCU up to this point, it's just been, yeah, Loki could do illusions, projections, whatever. He's the god of mischief, no big thing. Thor's the god of thunder, he can handle him. But now they're fucking expanding on him, giving him enchantment and like disillusionment and just fucking like getting into the realm of the mind and everything like that. He's gonna be a big fucking key player.
Well, in the comics, Loki is actually considered also a Nexus being.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could tell that from Loki with, all the variants. It's kind of obvious.
Well, no, not even just the variants. He himself, in the comics, there's a particular strain. I had to go back and look to see what the title is. I don't remember off the top of my head, but he actually is confirmed has the power to literally rewrite reality. And part of that was alluded to in the show when He Who Remains was offering Loki the ability to take his seat.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I'm tired. I'm done doing this. And if there's anybody who's powerful enough to handle this and create reality as needed,
it's a dude that can literally rewrite it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do I think Loki's powerful enough to combat Scarlet Witch? Absolutely.
No.
But, you look at it from that standpoint, like we're finally seeing Loki come into his own character. He's always been a B-sided character, and we're finally seeing him as an A-sided character, like an actual main portion to this entire web of story.
Quick question:
I think that's amazing.
If Sorcerer Supreme and Loki teamed up against Scarlet Witch, what you thinking?
So you're talking Doctor Strange and Loki?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to Scarlet Witch for.
I was about to say it's kind of tough on that one.
I'm gonna give it to Scarlet Witch for one reason.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the devil on her side.
Oh,
the Darkhold is
gonna bring that up. I was about to say you're gonna bring that dimension up. All right.
The Darkhold is a direct reflection of hell, basically, of Mephisto and his power.
Oh yeah, MCU's version of hell.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Mephisto. So,
which correct me if I'm wrong. The MCU's version of hell, which is the Darkhold, is that concurrent across all the timelines?
Yes.
Okay, that's the only thing.
Keep in mind one very important factor here, and this is another theory, just a brief theory. They gave her the Darkhold, which means hell exists, which means Mephisto exists, which means we're going to get Ghost Rider.
Ooh.
Because Mephisto is the one who gives him the contract to sign.
We're going to get another Ghost Rider movie. Oh, boy. I want to see
honestly,
how they pull that one
if
off.
they pulled the dude they had play Ghost Rider out of the show from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'd sold.
Oh, the dude that played in the show, he was fucking great.
Yeah. Dude, his badass car, I was like, oh my God, yes, I'm in on this. Let's
Bro literally walked up and said, this is my scene now. Get the fuck out of my way.
I just honestly, I just want to see like a multiversal Nick Cage show up though, be like, I don't want to be angry. Skull hand bang. Like I just want to see that. If Nick Cage.
No, I just want Nick
become
Cage to
MCU
walk up, like Ghost Rider comes into a cafe just to get like a coffee or something, and then Nick Cage is just like, "Oh, hey, you're that dude. Yeah, I remember when I had that time. This was fun." And they just shake hands and go about their way.
I'd piss my pants. I'd just be like,
fucking laugh.
like, dude, I'd be squealing like a little girl. I'm all for it. Please, like, give us multiversal Nick Cage Ghost Rider one time. That's all I'm asking. MCU. That's all I'm asking. One time,
Please.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah. And throw in a Declaration of Independence just for kicks.
Oh, God. I mean, it's Disney.
I mean, he is.
That's what I'm saying. It's Disney. They own it. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
I can just imagine him being at that bar and he's got like the little like scroll holder thing, and then like you can just see it like just barely peeking out right there.
Yeah, and as soon as Ghost Rider sits down, he just pushes it in.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah!
He just like slides it away, and everyone knows. Everyone's just like, "Say it, say it. Did you steal it? Did you steal it?"
Like, hey yo, Disney, we just wrote your cameo scene. Hit us up.
What up? We expect royalties. But Disney,
if it
make
does
your own
play
streaming
out,
service for
if
gamers.
it does play out like that, I want to fucking go to the streets and scream that shit.
Yeah, I'm going straight to Disney HQ and be like, "Yo, Mickey Mouse, where the hell you at? I'm coming for you, dog. Give me my money.
Where my check?"
Linda did say that they also recently created a Funko Pop of Ghost Rider, or like a blacklight Funko Pop of Ghost Rider, and they're doing more. So I definitely think they're setting it up. Pops can be spoilers.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
definitely.
they can be. Yes, they can be. But you know, that all said, with WandaVision and Loki, they definitely use those shows to rewrite a lot of what needed to be rewritten.
It wasn't explained fully in the movies.
Yes. Well, so the problem was, and Sam, you alluded to this earlier, and you hit the nail on the head. When we all saw Endgame, and then we saw Spider-Man shortly after that, because Spider-Man's technically still part of Phase 3. Everyone's like, where do they go? Like, where do you go from here? Because Spider-Man really didn't give any context to the future of the MCU.
No, it was just literally a complete different storyline.
Yeah, it was just kind of showing the ramifications of somebody who was super close to him and how he's trying to handle that now that he's post-blip. That's really what it was showing everyone post-blip for a brief moment in time. But when they backed themselves into a corner like that, I remember, I think it was Jon Favreau said, we always, it was either him or Kevin Feige in an interview said, we love at Marvel, we love backing ourselves into a corner because it makes us think harder.
Yeah, it makes them break down the wall that is the corner. Correct.
And that's what they did was you have Endgame. Okay, Endgame, you've lost Tony, Cap, and Widow. 3 of the original 6 Avengers are now gone, dead, bye, peace.
Not to mention Vision.
Yeah. Vision's dead. Like, you've got all these characters that are dead. How the hell do you continue after that? Because everybody who's grown over this past decade plus watching these movies, kids, adults, or otherwise, everyone's invested in the storyline of like, okay, this is growing to this ultimate battle. Holy shit, the ultimate battle hit. They won,
but at what cost?
And now everyone's sitting there like, what is going to happen next? And that's why COVID sucked even more, because everyone's sitting there for a whole year going, I need more.
Yeah.
No, that Black Widow was supposed to come out right before COVID hit, and it got pushed back so fucking far. And Joe knows this because I kept getting fucking pissed because I wanted that movie.
Yeah.
And well, and so that kind of goes along with this too, is, you know, because we got to talk about Black Widow as well, and we should jump on into that. You know,
before Falcon and Winter Soldier, let's do Black Widow, because I've been seeing a lot of hate for Black Widow online.
It's not hate for the movie that I've seen. I've seen more hate at how Disney released the movie, not the movie itself.
Oh, with the Disney Plus, was it premiere streaming thing? Yeah. I mean,
they lost a lot of money.
Yeah, because fuck that. No one wants to do that when you can go to the movie theaters and pay the exact same price for popcorn, soda, and the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which is exactly what all of us did.
I mean, so they lost a lot of money from that, but realistically, that's the big thing of basically why Hollywood's pissed, is because they're saying, oh, well, Disney tried to rewrite how to release movies and it blew up in their face. part of that too is because if it wasn't for COVID, it would have been perfect time to release Black Widow. But
Yeah.
as much as I love the movie, as I know you and I both went and saw it together. Sam, you said the same thing too after you and Linda went to go see it together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all kind of agreed. Phenomenal movie.
Yeah, and I can't get away with watching a movie like that by myself.
That's
Like,
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
You know her.
Yeah, phenomenal movie, but it's too little, too late. Like we
Yeah,
already know.
how it was released and the time it was released was fucking shitty.
Yeah, and it was a good closure for her character because her death was so sudden.
But it should have been like this movie should have been earlier in the MCU like movie kind of thing.
I'm just glad they did it because if anybody deserves it, it's her. Her
Yeah,
character
because she
deserves
worked
it.
her ass off at that character.
Yeah. She's caught a lot of hell for a lot of previous movies she's done where they've whitewashed characters to put her in those spots, which I
Yep.
totally understand for certain movies. But the thing is, she deserves no hate whatsoever because as far as I'm concerned, as a viewer, as an avid watcher, as an avid fan, she is and forever will be Black Widow.
Yeah,
No one,
obviously,
it's
no
like
doubt.
Wolverine. No one can fill those shoes.
And the part that I have the problem with the most is like people dogging on her character. I was like, you do realize this was a woman that was pregnant on set and filming these movies. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you realize what the capability and quantity of a person to do that, and like the pure power of a woman to do that on set. I mean,
Yeah.
they literally had to force her not to do stunts because she was pregnant,
She was an absolute badass.
and some of those stunts actually
Mhm.
caused some of the stuntmen to get injured, like very badly injured. There was one, I think it was Winter Soldier. Stuntman almost died. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
people, these are not easy jobs. They are hard as fuck to do.
Yeah. But wrapping that back, I do think Black Widow was too little too late just because of how important her character was to the overall story.
I mean, she literally held the team together, but okay.
Yeah, she was the glue to the team, really. And I think that the biggest thing here is if we had gotten that movie, a lot of people out there will probably disagree with me. If we had gotten that movie in place of Captain Marvel, I think we would.
Yep. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I just think for continuity's sake, I feel like that would have been a great position because
Yeah.
it's going back and explaining like, well, why is she randomly wearing a green vest? Why is she randomly blonde? Where the
And-
hell has she been this whole time? Like,
I mean, it would have been perfect except for like the death scene at the end with her grave. Like, yeah, they could have kept that out if it was right at Captain Marvel.
so again, this is part of why I wish they had pulled this out before COVID.
Yeah.
That scene, Marvel was in talks to bring her back
Mm-hmm.
because at the beginning of that movie, there's a special whistle that her and her sister share where she goes high low and her sister goes low high.
Yeah, the Sparrow song.
Yep. In that scene, her sister whistles to the gravestone low high. And in the distance, before the camera cuts, you hear high low whistle and
Mhm.
in the cut. And Marvel had filmed that because they were talking about bringing her character back due to the fact that why? Well, when Cap went back to reset the timeline, the Soul Stone was put back, which
It
means
reset her.
yeah,
True. I didn't even
so
think about
she
that.
would have come
Yeah.
back, but they didn't renew
do
her.
it.
They she decided not to renew her contract. It's kind of like the whole RDJ thing. She was like, this character has been a centerfold piece, a true like
It has literally been her life for more than a decade.
yeah, like it's been a true testament to the character, to her career, and she's like, it's time to let Black Widow cease so somebody else can come in that place.
Which
And I
is-
respect that.
I respect it a hell of a lot, and I'm excited to see what movie she puts out going forward.
Yeah,
Because
I
even when
respect
she
it.
was doing Black Widow and stuff, she was putting out other movies with other companies as well, like Ghost in the Shell. I know a lot of people hated it. I actually liked it, but some other ones like that, and Lucy. Once again, some people hated it, but I kind of liked it. She put out other movies during this whole process. Like, I'm excited to see what she does going forward from here with movies that now that she doesn't have Disney and Black Widow hanging over her.
Yeah. And also, and I'm curious y'all's thoughts on this too, but like this really does open up a lot more for her sister's character as well, because as you saw in the post-credit scene, Val, who I'm safely guessing is putting together the Secret Avengers or the Dark Avengers or whatever they're going to call them, she showed up to give her basically a mission and said, I figured you just might want to see who killed your sister. And then we see Clint on the screen, and everyone in the I remember everyone in the theaters, including you and I, both went,
ah, shit.
So much so that I just broke my microphone. See that? Look at that.
Yep.
Is it like actually like this? Is it actually broken?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just gonna hold it like this.
Yeah, but also that confirms that Jeremy Renner is coming back, so that's fun.
No
Hello?
disrespect. It's Jeremy Renner.
Oh, well, whatever. I got his first name right. He can count on that.
That's Clint Bart. That's Hawkeye. Put some respect on his name.
Fuck no. He's supposed to be blind and he ain't.
Well, actually, so I know, again, I'm the nerd here and I deep dive a lot of this stuff. But if you have looked at any of the behind the scenes stuff from him filming for the Hawkeye show that's coming out, in the comics, he's deaf. In the show, he's seen multiple times wearing hearing aids.
Oh, okay.
So they're finally going canon.
Finally. It took him a while because I remember when he first showed up, I was like, where's his impairment? Like, not being an asshole or anything. I was just like, Canon, are you there?
It's so awkward.
You want to try and fix that?
I will after the show. I'm just gonna hold it for the rest of the show.
Jesus.
I just need to get a good angle on holding this. But yeah, so Black Widow was phenomenal. Again,
the release time and the way they released it, horrible.
Yeah, it was just a little too late. There we go. Now we're good. Sweet.
Yeah. At some point, yeah, it could be placed on COVID, but at another point during it, like, come on, Disney. You own pretty much more than half of Hollywood. You could have made something work.
Well, see, that's the hard part is like, so they did a lot of reshoots. So, and those reshoots had to take place during COVID, just like what we're going to get into next, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Falcon and the Winter Soldier did a lot of reshoots too, because Disney felt like that the original storyline was a little too close to what was happening. Because for those of you out there who don't know, the original storyline was actually when everyone came back post blip, there was a massive virus killing the world, basically.
Oh yeah, I can see why they pulled that back. Yeah, they're like, let's wait. Hang on a second.
Maybe let's not do that right now when you know it's IRL.
Yeah. So basically, if I remember correctly, the storyline was actually the Flag Smashers were a group of people trying to get vaccines around the world. And they were being hunted by the government for
they were trying to give
dispersing vaccines
to like refugees and everything like that. Yeah. It was a little on the nose.
Somebody up like high up at the government was like, hey, Disney, I'm gonna need you to
maybe not.
Yeah.
Immediately get a call from the CIA. Hey, I'm gonna need you to stop.
Yeah. We've been watching what you're doing, and
mean, great fan of your work, but yeah, no.
Let's just think about the ramifications. Yeah.
You're breaking some Department of Defense contracts right there.
I think it would have been fantastic, honestly, with the original story. But they did a good job with redoing the story. I think they did it. They did a great job. I think honestly, Falcon and Winter Soldier was probably my favorite of the three, only because I like the real events that is taking place here on Earth.
Yeah,
and also Marvel, thank you for doing what we've been asking for the last decade, and that is giving these characters their actual comic book outfits, like Scarlet Witch, like Loki, and like Captain America Falcon. Oh my God, his suit was on point.
Fresh.
Every detail, every stitch in that little thing was just perfect.
It
You know,
literally
they
wrote
have
off
one
the
of the
page.
they have one of the nerd overlords come down and grammatically like just sketch that whole thing out and stitch it themselves with their own blood, sweat, and semen. So
Let
it
me
would be
show you
perfect.
how it is supposed to look, mortals.
King Nerd from atop his tower is like, no, you will do this as I say.
You dare call yourself a graphics design artist? Where'd you get the degree? Elementary school, you piece of shit.
But they did that phenomenally. And honestly, I you know what? A lot of people have been on the whole Captain America Winter Soldier stand, like, hey, ship them as a couple. Nah, bro. Give me that Sam and Bucky friendship, bro.
Oh yeah, give me
Oh
that.
my god.
That is straight bro friendship right there. Like fuck you, but also I got your back, homie.
Yeah.
Honestly, though,
I love it.
It's
I
literally
love
it would
it.
literally be like they're literally the skinny version of me and Joe.
yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
like for a superhero show, it is the most relatable thing. Like honestly, like Bucky hitting on Sam's sister, like everything, just all of it was just perfect.
Yeah, does that bring up a memory, Joe? Does that one?
I did not.
So it was a great show. It's a phenomenal show.
I did not.
Yeah. So
We're gonna
no, I
talk
think-
about that one after the podcast.
I think one thing that was really cool about that show though was it gave a real world account of the ramifications of the blip. Like
Yeah.
like WandaVision kind of gave it because of the whole hospital scene when Monica Rambeau came back.
Yeah,
Which can't wait to see more of her character, by the way. I meant to say that. Her
Oh, yeah.
character's gonna be awesome.
that's gonna be a
but-
fun character.
Yeah. But they were really given a lot more of a post blip account, real world aspect of like how everything was taking place. Even going as far as like explaining, which I love the bank scene when they're like, so how do heroes get paid? And he's like, it's not like that, really. We just do our
we
thing.
just
Like,
yeah, we just do our thing. We kind of broke.
yeah, it's not like in what was it, George Clooney's Batman when he's talking about like donating money, he pulls out the fucking
back
credit
card.
and he's
God,
just like, I'll charge it. No, it's not like that at all.
no,
but,
we do the hero thing. We do it because we want to help people, but I still got bills I got to pay. And I love how they brought in so many real world applications, like going to the bank, trying to get a loan, and like fighting off debt, trying to keep the family afloat. Not to mention, we can go into this later, like the racial undertones and everything that comes with Captain America's shield, and just being a black man in America and trying to represent America at that time. That was a whole great arc. And then just Bucky trying to deal with him losing pretty much half of his life or more, and trying to repent in a way, but also come to terms with who he is.
Yep.
And how his identity differs from just being Steve's like sidekick, ally, friend.
Mm-hmm.
There was a whole lot of real world things that came into play that made that just hit very close to home.
And this just hit me, and this doesn't really pertain to the overall story at all. But this is more so, hey, Warner Brothers, if you ever want to know how to handle when your fans don't like what you're doing, or at least you hear them requesting something, you should do it. Kind of like Disney did when everyone was asking for a Zemo dance over for whatever, because everyone was all about Zemo dancing in the club, and Disney literally went and rendered an hour-long version of him dancing in the club and posted it saying, here you go, you ask, you shall receive. Like that, I love it. Everything about that show was amazing.
I'm just gonna step away from that one, but
Yeah.
that one, I mean, I really like, even though Disney is like huge in the entertainment industry, they pretty much own a good bit of it. They don't lose touch with the people that make them that industry. They still listen to the fans. They still listen to their viewers, and that is what I like to see. Even though there's massive, and people say they're one of the big four or whatever the fuck they say, like one of the biggest companies, like compared to Amazon and stuff like that, but they still listen. That's what they're doing different that makes them better.
Yeah.
And makes them able to stand. It makes them able to keep their place at the top and keep putting out movies of this and series of this perfection because they listen.
Well, I think the big thing too is they're recognizing that these characters have to have growth. And that growth's not just going to happen in a brief moment in time in a movie somewhere. You know, we
No,
got
because-
Zemo at
Go ahead.
we got Zemo in Civil War, right? I'm going to use him as a perfect example. We get Zemo in Civil War, and he's not the Zemo that we see from the comics. He's not the purple masks, you know, purple mask, giant jacket with the big furry collar, you know, looking merc, basically. He's a military, you know, ex-military individual who is literally hell-bent on destroying the Avengers because the Avengers just didn't care about what their actions caused.
Yep.
And it gave real world account. So, but then we get him way later, and oh, I love this scene when they're at the shipyard and you see Baron Zemo come unglued, and it's just full John Wick. Like,
Oh, you know, at
my
that point,
God.
he had lost any restraint. He was just like, yeah, these guys are going.
It was like as soon as the mask went on, it was game on. And I was like, especially when they tease it and you see him open the car door in his garage. I love the line. I was like, how, like Sam asked him, like, how do you have all this? And he's like, I'm a baron. I'm rich. Like they
So it's
literally.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna say you got a spider crawling behind you.
Yeah, you might want to kill that thing.
Spider-Man. It's just a daddy
Oh,
long
that's
leg.
a big boy too.
Just a
He's
daddy
a big
long
boy.
leg.
You want to go ahead and kill him?
It's just a daddy long leg. You don't need to die. You don't need. You
Oh,
don't,
he's on the mic stand.
he
Jesus.
Don't, he don't need to die. He's like, now. When a crocodile and oh,
And it's still.
R.I.P.
He will-
Rest in peace, Spider-Man.
forever be up there, and anybody in chat will know.
I'm gonna just block him like this. Mess with me again, bro. But no, like they're just the character development throughout these shows.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
I mean, I would just
so
like to say,
good.
I really appreciate Disney recognizing the fact that they're like, these characters, like, people have grown up with them, they've developed with them and watched them. Of course, we're going to have to give them character development, but we can't give it to them like any other show where it's just like real quick over a season or something like that. We got to actually define these characters, make them human, make them believable. And they do that.
Yeah.
It's just like they know who the fans are. They're like, yeah, we recognize that y'all have grown up with these. We also want to get new kids and like new people into this, but we recognize that we can't make these characters just two-dimensional. We got to make them 4D at like real life.
Yep.
Because otherwise, no one's gonna relate to them. And they tackled that problem and they handled it exceptionally well, especially in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That's like a masterclass of exactly what we've just been talking about. Just, you know, how well they handled everything. Because, you know, the other shows and movies, you know, might not have exemplified it as perfectly, but like if you want to take like one kind of short and concise, you know, series to watch that shows the growth of Disney, and that's it right there.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Also,
And
them tackling racism.
I was about to say, yeah, like
that was fun,
especially
especially right after coming from 2020, which we won't go into what exactly happened there. But if you were alive, then you pretty much know.
Yep.
Yeah. But so just so that we don't, you know, continue on this insane path, I'd like to say just kind of a brief up and coming. A lot of people out there are sleeping on it because they think it's not going to be important. If you've seen Loki and you know what happens at the end of Loki, if you've gone this far and listened to us talk and you already know what happens at the end of Loki, you need to watch Marvel's What If.
Yep.
That is going to have a lot of juicy detail that's going to go into this multiversal situation. I guarantee it.
Oh, I am excited for What If because I'm just like, oh, there's so many things they can do. They can bring in, like, oh my God. Just imagine if they brought in a Gwenpool. Shit would be fucking insane.
Yeah, they're They've got a lot already keyed up. The last trailer they released for it looks amazing, and a lot of the storylines we're going to get are just going to be insane mashups of things we never expected before. I'm really excited to see what they do with it. I really
Yeah,
am.
I mean, but I mean, come on, all the dimensions and stuff like that in Marvel, they kind of get pretty insane. So I'm not surprised that the mashups they're doing are just as equally insane.
Yeah. Yep. But before we head out, I'd like to hear, because Sam, you've been kind of quiet.
Mhm.
What do you think is going to happen over the course of the next movies and shows?
That's a big question. It's a fucking huge question. To keep it kind of short, Kang's the next ultimate big bad, or Scarlet Witch. One of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Really excited to see that development, and I hope they don't rush it, which I don't think they will at this point. But you know, still can have my anxiety. So I was just thinking, like, you remember the anxiety we all felt when Disney bought Marvel?
Oh God.
Like, I remember I was
Yep.
like, man, they're gonna trash everything. Like,
Yeah, especially since that was like they bought it right when Deadpool 2 was being made, and I was scared as fuck.
yeah, they're like, uh oh.
Well, honestly, if anything, Disney's proved that they are the kings of being able to create Marvel stuff. Like, they've just put the right people in place. Because if I'm not mistaken, they didn't even like fire anybody from the Marvel team. They bought the whole company and said, "Hey, y'all are coming with us. We're going to do this right.
No,
You
they
need
brought
funding?
everybody
We've got
in.
funding."
Yeah.
And that's where we're at.
God damn those Disney contracts when you're working for Marvel. Jesus Christ, those bitches. That's, I heard some things that went into those contracts. I was like, God damn, no wonder they have a team of lawyers going with the actors when they sign those bitches. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Linda's in chat saying, yeah, they just fucked up Star Wars.
Yeah, they did.
That'll be a different conversation for a different day.
Yeah, that'll be another conversation. That's going to be a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah, where I explain
Buckle
why I
up,
hate.
Buttercup. This one's going in dry.
Yeah, why I hate every new Star Wars except Rogue One.
Oh, we're gonna have a good, nice debate about that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I'll be your
Yeah.
I'll be your moderator.
Yeah, let me go back and watch them again, especially what was it, Leia's Mary Poppins scene.
Jesus Christ. El Coco Poppy, what's your conclusion on what's going to happen next?
What I think is going to happen next is that Scarlet Witch is going to be an antagonist. That's somehow going to lead to the X-Men getting introduced. We're going to have Kang the Conqueror, and then of course we're going to have Secret Avengers, Dark Avengers, whatever they have, come in, and we're going to have that whole little, might be a 2-way, might be a 3-way between Scarlet Witch, Kang the Conqueror, and the Secret Avengers, or we'll have Secret Avengers versus the X-Men. And I'm also excited to see how they're going to approach the dynamic with Captain Marvel and Rogue, because that has potential for some great character development there for Captain Marvel. And I think what it's all going to lead up to is not just Kang the Conqueror, but it's going to lead up to an even bigger bad. And I don't think it's Galactus.
Hell yeah.
Yep. What about you, Joe?
I'll try and keep it as short and sweet as
Yeah, you got 30 seconds. Go.
So
That sound like an auctioneer out here.
Can I get a Secret Avengers? Secret Avengers? Can I get a Dark Avengers? Dark Avengers? Go on solo. Can I get a Galactic? Galactus? No Galactus. Can I get a MODOK?
Well,
I'm surprised I pulled that off.
Yeah, that was really good.
So I'm just gonna put a theory out there. I think the next big bad that we're gonna roll against. The more I think about it, I think Scarlet Witch is going to be a big bad for a few movies. I think the first big bad we're going to come across is Kang, because Avengers 5 has not been scheduled yet. So I think Kang's going to have a lot of development in that. I think the next big bad after that, because they're already teasing him with the characters they're bringing back, is Avengers 6 big bad is going to be MODOK. And I think Avengers 7, which will be pretty much the end of the saga, will be Galactus.
Okay, yeah, I like that one.
Or Avengers 7 will be kind of a culmination of the multiversal war, and we're going to see Kang represented in a much stronger light, but the Avengers are going to be much larger in number due to the introduction of the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. But in the immediate future, I would be keeping my eyes wide open for what's going to happen with the multiversal situations taking place, especially with Scarlet Witch being where she's at. Spider-Man's getting ready to come up, and I think Doctor Strange is about to put on probably the best movie we've ever seen in Marvel history next to Endgame.
Isn't that supposed to be a horror movie?
Yes.
Ooh.
Nice. Oh, also, I want to bring this little factoid out there. We still got Deadpool just hanging out there, and they haven't done anything. I mean, they technically own him, don't they? Or is he still Warner Bros?
Phase 5.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
Well, if like you say, he's getting introduced, and I would like to see what they do with that, because that could implicate bringing in Death, and could see a return to Thanos.
Knowing the comics the way I do, I doubt that, only because Death was such a significant part in his original story. The reason he did what he did with the Infinity Stones was
Right,
was
in
because
which
of Death.
they completely removed, but he Earth 616 and this other Thanos are both dead. That means they have ample time with Death right now. So
Earth 616, that's still alive.
Thanos from the current universe.
Oh, if you're talking about like as far as multiversal goes, yeah, that could happen. That could,
Yeah. Which, I
yeah.
mean, they just introduced the multiversal. So I'm kind of thinking of all the possible theories, especially since you said apparently Deadpool's coming to the MCU, which I'm excited to see how that works out.
Yeah, Deadpool's definitely confirmed for the MCU. They've already even stated as far as they're heavily, not fully, but heavily considering keeping his movie rated R.
I really fucking hope so, because if Deadpool's not rated R, I'm kind of just gonna be pissed.
Yeah, but they did confirm Ryan Reynolds is definitely keeping the part.
Oh, of course. Who else could play him?
He's another one. Yeah, like who else can play Deadpool at this point?
Yeah.
You know, like
So glad Ryan Reynolds redeemed himself from Green Lantern, because that was just a shit.
Please don't make the suit green.
yeah.
or animated.
Oh man. Well, gentlemen, I believe it's that time.
I
We've
believe
talked
so.
a lot, gone through a lot. Anything in chat we need to wrap up?
Nope.
All right. Well, everyone out there, again, thank you for watching. YouTube, this is more for you. If you didn't get a chance to catch this live and hop in the chat, tune in Sunday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard, twitch.tv/the Gaming Bunch Boys, for a lot of fun discussion, because this won't be the only kind of comic book discussion we have, or as we expand on what we're talking about more and more, this just jump in and have some fun with us. However, if you do have any questions or comments, concerns, or even smart remarks, because Anderson will be the one addressing those in his only way he knows how.
Yeah, fuck you.
Just like that. Just drop those down in the comments down below, and we would love to see what your thoughts are on what Marvel's going to be doing moving forward. And if there's anything that we have missed, because we're not perfect, and being that I'm apparently the only mega nerd fan here, I'm sure I missed a couple things, but I'm very humble and understanding that I might have, and please let me know if I did. And also, if there's anything that you feel as though you'd like to address with what we discussed, also let us know. Again, hit the subscribe button, the bell icon, and you'll stay up to date on all things TGB. Give this video a like if you liked what we talked about, and we will catch you in the next one.
Later, shit dumpsters.
Peace.
Peace.